So, this talk is titled "Why Empowerment Fails," but let's start in the other end of it. What is it that makes empowerment work? If you want to empower teams and have them safely own outcomes, what needs to be in place? Please just shout out anything that comes to mind. What needs to be in place for a team to be successfully be empowered?
Accountability.
Autonomy. Accountability. Freedom. Trust. Mandate. Sorry? Psychological safety. What else? Clarity. Clarity on what? Life. Direction. Mission. What else? Skill. What kind of skill? Good at your job. Something else? Communication. Sorry? Money. Purpose. What other skills? Job, communication, collaboration skills. Teamwork is an individual skill, as someone said. All right, you get it. So if we were to categorize these, we could say that these are about control and actually giving teams mandate, accountability, freedom, giving control, really empowering them. And this one is competence. It could also be competence in self-leadership, this is not my job, but actually taking responsibility, discovery skills, collaboration skills, as you said. This is the hardest part, actually getting the Venn diagram right. And this one, as someone said, clarity on how do we work, what are the guardrails, what are the boundaries, what's the goal, what's the vision, and so on. And it's in the intersection of when you have the right competence, the right clarity, and enough control, great things will happen. Whoops, didn't foresee this. Okay, let's do this. It's a little bit cramped. You need space to be empowered. So this is another way of showing it then, that when you have enough competence and clarity, you can also be empowered, you can have control. But the problem is that sometimes we are given control, but we don't have enough competence and clarity. So we don't really know what to do, how to do it, it's not clear. And then we can end up in chaos. A lot of people running around in different directions, doing the wrong things, not being aligned, reinventing the wheel, and so on. And this is the big concern for many leaders with empowerment, what makes a lot of them hesitate. Can I really give this control to the teams? What if this happens? And then it's my job to make sure it doesn't. The illusion of control, we sometimes refer to it as. But it could also end up in passivity, is that the word? Or inertia. Oh, you're empowered. And we've several times met leaders where we say, I've empowered my people. I told them that they need to take initiative. I said that they can come up with ideas, but they don't do it. They just don't want to do it. So they don't want to because maybe, as you heard from Michael in the last talk, that they are afraid of failing. And then on the other hand, we have this situation. You really have a lot of competence and clarity, but you're not given control. You're not trusted to make all these decisions. And that's where you end up frustrated. And feel you're not growing, you're not being able to do the things that you want and you believe you know is the right thing. So how can we find the sweet spot then of having the right competence and clarity in place for control? So leaders can, of course, give control. Okay, I want you to come up with initiatives and choose what to work on. And then maybe they do the wrong thing from your point of view, or they don't take any initiative. So what do you do then as a leader? And in many cases that we've seen, what's actually happening is you take control back. Okay, it didn't work. Empowerment failed. It doesn't work here. We can't do it. We've tried. But what you really should be doing is, of course, okay, what competence and clarity is missing for the team to be able to take control, to move them into a higher level and higher levels. So that's the job of a leader when empowerment fails, not take control back, but look at how can we increase context and competence. And one example of this is that one client that we work with, or it could be multiple, that say, okay, you can choose, you can prioritize, and so on. And then they've gone to agile leadership trainings and so on, so they know that my job as a leader is now to remove impediments for the team. So the team doesn't know. They have a lot of things and requests coming from all different directions in the company. So we're not sure what to prioritize here. We can't do it all. So what do? They come to the leader and say, we don't know what we should be working on. We have all these things and the requests and so on. Oh, now I see it. I'm going to remove this impediment. Choose option B. So now I've removed an obstacle for the team. It's good intentions. They just want to help you. It's not because they're malicious most of the time. But that's typically what happens. And then they effectively take back control when they should be asking, what more information do you need? How can I help you with more context or clarity? Who should you be talking to? What data, what insights can we supply? So some of you might recognize this model from David Marquet, the US submarine captain. It's not widely published, but there is a YouTube video. It's not explicitly referenced in any of his books. We've kind of developed it a little bit more and made it more specifically about product development and empowerment, and added a fourth C that he sometimes touches on, and that's context. So some organizational conditions and cultures, 5 C's, 6 C's, I guess, culture, conditions, actually enable or amplify the growth of control, competence, and clarity, and others actually dampen or destroy them. So for instance, what Michael was talking about in the lightning talk before me, if we can instill this culture of psychological safety, of no fear, that's why I kind of put that a little bit on the side here then for context. If we have an organization where we actually can instrument what's happening with our product so we can get data, if we have an organization where we can give access to users and customers for our development teams or product teams, then we build an organization that's actually increasing clarity or amplifies clarity. And if we have managers and leaders who are devoted to actually developing people, building products is about building people, really. One quote that I love from Toyota is that we don't build cars, we build people who build cars. And it's much more than just being good at your job. It's not just, I need to help Jim become a better Java developer and send him to Java courses and Java training. No, it's increasing Jim's knowledge about product discovery, the users, the customers, the domain, collaboration skills, communication skills, on all of those things. That's what developing competence is ultimately about. So this afternoon at 14:45, I will host a workshop, and if someone shows up, I imagine that we will be together exploring, identifying, okay, what are the typical frictions within these different areas? What are some frictions that might be specific maybe to your context that gets in the way for control, competence, clarity, or context? And then together explore what are some common or practical interventions for these? What are some patterns that we can use to actually close this gap and make sure that empowerment doesn't fail? And if you don't have lots of ideas, I'm happy to also be sharing my favorite ones and go-to interventions. So hope to see you there, 2:45. Thank you.